All right, everyone. How you doing? Well, I've been thinking a lot about Mr. Brian Wilson. Words can't explain the influence he has had on me. I mean, the Beach Boys, yeah, but Brian's a different league. He taught me so much. Like, when I was a kid, the funny thing is, like, Pet Sounds, we all know how amazing Pet Sounds is, right? For example, I think some of the other albums are great after that, like Friends and things like that. But Pet Sounds is this acclaimed album that, you know, gets referred to probably the most, even though at the very time, I don't think it was as successful as it became. I mean, there goes my phone again. But, you know, you had bands like the Beatles praising it. I mean, if the biggest band in the world are praising it, you're probably going to do all right. Yeah? But for me personally, when I first heard it, I didn't really click with it. I don't know why. Maybe I was too young. I don't know. Like in my early teens. I heard it and I heard some good bits on there. But I just heard it as a record. And then it wasn't until I think I was about 20, that I truly clicked. I remember laying on my little bed, my little single bed at my mum's house in my bedroom. I was just laying there, laying on my back, staring at the ceiling. And I put Pet Sounds on. And I closed my eyes and all of a sudden, it made sense. It actually connected like nothing had ever connected before. Suddenly I felt like it was being injected into my veins, and the music and the arrangement was so strong, it literally moved me like nothing else. And it was almost like my eyes had been opened for the first time. By the time I finished that record, laying down my back, I swear I was a different person. It was like a new me had been born. And every single way I look at writing a song or playing guitar or whatever, or piano, was different. I suddenly had this thing inside me that understood like all of these textures that take over everything. It's so hard. I'm trying to explain it. I really am. But anyway, from that day on, everything changed. I found it hard to just play a jangly little guitar anymore without there being more depth in some way or another. I'm not saying that is the right way to do music. I'm talking about my perspective, how I envisioned things after that. It just wasn't the same. And I guess that leads me to the magical time, the only time I got to meet Brian Wilson. So I was in the Paul Weller band at the time. I mean, in all honesty, I probably wouldn't have had the chance. I'd tried over the years to blag, you know, backstage things and all of that. But I literally wouldn't have had a clue. But we were playing at Victoria's Festival. I think it's in Southampton. And I couldn't believe when I saw the lineup. It didn't matter about anyone else. Brian Wilson was on the list. And I just thought, I can't believe this. I mean, what are the chances of me getting to shake his hand, say hello? And then when we got there, we went about our thing as normal. We all arrived on the bus, got off, threw our stuff in the dressing room, hung out a bit, you know, had a drink or shandy, whatever. And it was great. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking something else. I was thinking, where's Brian? Where's Brian? And then, I don't know, I was chatting with Paul, and I said, you know, where's his dressing room? And we were like, should we go and find him? And I thought at first it was just going to be me and Paul. And then we sort of all rounded up, most of us anyway, and went and found his little trailer thing, you know, his dressing room. When we knocked on the door and, you know, like little boys, is it okay if we come and say hello to Brian? Which was kind of funny because, you know, these idols, you know, it makes you change your attitude. Just suddenly, instead of going, all right, mate, can I meet Brian? You're suddenly like talking to an elder. I know it sounds weird, but you know what I'm saying. And they said, yeah, give us a set. And they had a word. And then they said, come on in. So we went in as a group, said hello to Brian. He didn't say much. And sat on the sofa with him and had a little band photo, which was, to be fair, that was enough. That was incredible. And then we said our goodbyes, you know, and left and went back to the dressing room. And I was just like, wow, that was amazing. And we were all buzzing off it. You know, we met Brian. We met Mr. Good Vibrations, the man who wrote some of the most incredible music ever on the planet so far. But then, me being me, I just wasn't content with that. I was like, I've waited my whole life for this moment, and I'm just in a group, just one of the numbers, saying hello. That's not good enough. I need one-on-one. And I secretly went back to his trailer. I was nervous, put it this way. I was really nervous. It's not like when you're in the group and you're fine. No, this was just me. Now, this time I knocked on the door and it opened. And I don't know, I'm guessing one of his assistants opened it. And I said, hello, it's me again. I said, I know we've just been round, but is there any chance I could just see Brian on my own and have a photo with him and say hello? Just me. And when the door was open, I could see Brian sat behind on the chair, and he was just staring at me like a death stare. I'm talking like I could have fainted with the way he was looking at me. He was like not moving. And then the man went, okay, I'll just have a word. And he went in and spoke to Brian, and then Brian said, yeah, of course. I mean, I now realise it wasn't Brian staring at me. It was him in one of his things where he was somewhere else, right? So I went in and I said, hello, Brian. I know I've just been round, but I just personally wanted to shake your hand and just say hello to you one-on-one, because, you know, this is incredible. The chance to be in the same festival, backstage and all that, it's just too mental. Someone of your league just over there in a trailer. And I said, I'll never forgive myself if I didn't do this. So he smiled and I said, do you mind if we have a photo together? And I looked windswept, I looked a right mess, but I didn't care. It was a moment. And so anyway, yeah, I sat down next to him and I had a photo. And that was that, really. I mean, the bad thing was, or the sad thing was, he wasn't well. He really wasn't well. I mean, he had people helping him do everything. And I felt really sad that that's kind of what he'd become. And then I started to question, are they just, you know, using the Brian Wilson thing to keep him working? He really didn't need to be working, even though I took advantage of that moment. Anyway, I did my thing with him, and then I just left. So happy that I braved it and did it. But I'll never forget that moment of shaking the hand of someone who wrote God Only Knows and such amazing music. I still can't imagine that happened. it's almost like it was a dream. There are certain people in life, aren't there, where you know, you can only dream that you'll meet, and the opportunity would arise where you'd be in the same vicinity. And most of the time, I'd say 99.9% of the time, for the average person, that will not happen. You know, whether you're a Michael Jackson fan or David Bowie, or do you know what I mean? Something like that. It's not going to happen, is it? Because you're not going to be in that situation. So I had to do it. I know I sound like I'm going on and on, but this podcast is for me to go on and on, right? So, yeah, I was just thinking about it, and I thought, oh, that's a good thing to bring up on the podcast, because it's not every day you meet your heroes. And some people say don't meet your heroes. You know, you'll be disappointed. But anyone I've ever met who is a hero, such as Paul McCartney, I'll save that for another episode, they've been great. I've never really met anyone that has made me think less of them or that I didn't like them anymore. It's always been great. If you meet someone who's an idiot, then they're an idiot. What are you going to do about it? But you still had a chance to meet them. See what I'm saying? Anyway, I was just so lucky, and the closest I ever got was my friend Lizzie Ball once was doing something like live with him when she plays violin, amazing player. And I said to Lizzie, I said, like, please, can you get me his autograph? And she did. That's the closest I ever really got. So, you know, to meet him, another level. And on my album, actually, the song Melody Boy, while we're at it, even though I originally started writing it about my own sort of childhood of being like this boy who can't stop thinking about music, you know, and all of that stuff, I ended up tailoring it to about Brian Wilson, in my head anyway. I was talking about Brian, the Melody Boy Brian, but it's also about my childhood. But I tailored that song after he died, basically. I altered it to suit him because I thought that made sense. And it made me happy to feel like he was somehow in my record, my debut album. It might not mean anything to anyone else, probably not, but to me, it was quite a big deal because he died and I was really sad about it. Just like when Bowie left us, my mind was blown. Yeah, of course, we're all human. And of course, it's all going to happen. It's going to happen to all of us. But you just don't think certain people are, I don't know, they're just invincible, aren't they? And when it happened, I was like, shit, yeah, Brian Wilson has gone. He's gone. But to know that I'd put some of that feeling into some of the words of the song Melody Boy, just one line, I can't remember, what does it say? I said something like, sending vibrations from earth to the sky. You know, just that line alone is kind of me saying he's sending good vibrations, but I just tailored it around him. So it's a mixture of him and me, but it's me sort of keeping his spirit alive, personally, if that makes any sense at all. The good thing about me chatting without any thought, apart from the thing that comes out my mouth, is that it's real and it's honest and spontaneous. The bad thing is I have no idea also what I've said. I've got no way of backtracking. So I hope it's all making sense. But on a flip side of the thing, whilst we're on about my album, I have done a little acoustic version of one of the songs for you. Just as exclusive to this podcast right now. Okay? It's one of the songs from the album. Obviously, it doesn't sound loads like the final version, but I've done a little acoustic version, which is as close as I can in that style. And I thought I'd do it just so that you could hear something else that's coming. Now, like I said, it's not the same. The record version's so much better, but this is a stripped version of kind of how I would have written the song. And it's called Save My Soul. It's one of the final songs on the album. And when I came up with it, the melody, I just thought the melody was quite beautiful. And the verse melody especially, there's something about it. There's certain melodies that in music that really pull me in, or certain chord progressions and changes that really impact me. Sometimes I don't even know how to play the chord, and I have to find it and learn it because I need it in my life. And this melody, it was a bit like that. When it came to me, I was like, oh, this is good. You know, I don't know why, but I just love the way it's a slow song, but it's got power. I mean, this version is an example of it, but the album version is, I think, much, much better and really suits the whole thing on Melody Boy. Do you know what I mean? So, do you want to hear it? This is the little version I've just done, and have a listen, and I'll be back in a minute. The night swallows the air I breathe. Shadows whisper what I can't see. A heavy weight sits on my chest. I chase the light but lose the rest. Save my soul from the darkness tonight. Hold me close till the morning light. I'm falling deep, can't find my way. Save my soul, don't let me stray. The clock ticks loud like a beating drum. Each second screams where I come from. The stars look down but won't reply. I shout the names to an empty sky. Save my soul from the darkness tonight. Hold me close till the morning light. I'm falling deep, can't find my way. Save my soul, don't let me stray. Is there a hand to pull me through? A voice that says I'm not in love with you. Is it you? Or is it me? Breaking chains to set me free. From the darkness tonight. Hold me close till the morning light. I'm falling deep, can't find my way. Save my soul, don't let me stray. Don't let me stray. Don't let me stray. Don't let me stray. So there you go. That was Save My Soul from my album Melody Boy, out on the 7th of August. It's a lovely little song with a lot of heartache, but it's more than that. But it's just one song from the album. The whole album is a mixture of colour and emotion, and I can't wait for you to get your ears around it. I really can't. Not long now. But excuse my little bodged up solo I stuck on there, because it's hard to play it on the acoustic, because I do one on the electric on the album, and I realised whilst doing it, ow, it hurts, I can't do it. But you get the vibe, right? So yeah, we've spoke about Brian briefly, and there isn't really a day that goes by, when I'm doing music anyway, that I don't think about Brian Wilson and his influence. Somehow he always pops up. There's some sort of sunshine to him. There's some sort of, like he's surrounded by a sunflower, not the album. You know, like he's just full of sunlight. And it's so empowering. I better stop there because I'm getting lost for words. But yeah, it was on my mind and I thought I'd talk about it for a little bit and give you one of my songs from the forthcoming album. Now, remember everyone, if you like this podcast or you like the idea of it, please remember to follow it so that every time I put an episode up, it pops up in your streaming thing, whatever one you're on, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, I don't know what other ones there are, but you know what I'm saying. Just and you can rate it as well, where you rate it with stars. Give it a rating, because the more ratings and things and reviews and followers I get means the more the platform sees that happening, and it might just help me out a bit. I think. I can't even pretend I know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of copying other people, what they say. But I hope it makes a difference. So if you can, and if you like it, tell your friends and share it. And then I'll carry on doing it. All right? And yeah, my single's out Friday, don't forget. Don't think. It's out on Friday. Or Thursday night at midnight, to be precise. Same again when it comes out. If you want to plug it around for me and be my little team Andy Crofts, I'll be over the moon. All right? Give it a share, put it on your profiles, tell your friends and everything. And yeah, let's help get it around. Because it's just another song to bridge the gap between the album and the first single, Blue, that came out. But yeah, anyway, I'll be back very soon for another episode of God Only Knows. How about that? Of God Only Knows. There you go. My Brian Wilson ending. Done. Thank you for listening, and see you later. Bye-bye.